The moment Emma, Jake, Tom, and Sophie stepped into Patch's tent, an overwhelming darkness enveloped them, suffocating and oppressive. The air was thick with a stench of decay, and shadows flickered along the canvas walls, twisting into grotesque shapes. Emma gripped the diary tightly, heart racing as she scanned the dimly lit interior. Suddenly, a low growl reverberated through the tent, sending chills down Emma's spine. From the shadows, Patches emerged, his hulking form looming like a nightmare. His grotesque grin widened, revealing rows of sharp teeth, and in his grasp was a lantern. Just then, Tom noticed a glowing mark on the side of the lantern. "That's it!" he exclaimed. "We need to get that lantern. The last symbol is on it." Patches lunged. "Run!" Jake shouted, and the friends scattered in panic, desperately trying to evade the mad clown. Patch's laughter echoed ominously, sending shivers down their spines as he chased after them. Emma ducked behind a tattered booth, heart pounding in her chest. She could hear Patches stalking closer, the sound of his footsteps sending waves of fear coursing through her. "Stay together," Tom called out, but as they moved to regroup, Patches lunged again, causing them to split up involuntarily. "Emma!" Sophie cried, the fear evident in her voice as she tried to find a way to escape the chaos. Patches was closing in on her. In the dim light, Emma spotted the flicker of the lantern, its glow a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. But Patches was relentless, stalking through the maze of props, eyes gleaming with malicious delight. Emma's pulse quickened as she spotted Sophie cornered, Patches towering over her, gripping her by her hair. The scene was horrifying. Sophie struggled in pain, terror etched on her face. "Let her go!" Emma shouted, but her voice felt small against the roar of Patch's madness. With a sickening grin, Patches tightened his grip, lifting Sophie effortlessly off the ground. The friends froze, fear gripping them as they watched helplessly. "Now!" Tom yelled, adrenaline surging. "We need that lantern!" With no time to waste, Emma and Jake darted toward Patches, their hearts pounding. They had to distract him long enough to retrieve the lantern that was their only chance. Tom picked up a broken prop and hurled it at Patches, but the clown barely flinched, eyes locked onto Sophie as he reveled in her fear. "Get to the lantern!" Emma urged, desperation fueling her movements. As they charged forward, Patches turned his attention to them, furious at the disturbance. He lunged, and in that moment, Emma felt her stomach drop. She and Jake were forced to dodge and weave through the shadows, fear pulsing in their veins. Just then, Sophie found a moment of leverage and kicked Patches in the shin, momentarily breaking his hold. Emma seized the moment, lunging toward the lantern dangling from Patches' belt. "Now! Sophie!" But Patches recovered quickly, furious at being thwarted. He lunged again, his grotesque figure a blur of motion as he reached for Sophie once more. "Hold on!" Tom shouted, swinging another prop in a desperate attempt to distract Patches. The clown stumbled back, allowing Sophie to break free again. "Get the lantern!" Emma yelled, determination flooding her veins. They couldn't let this be the end. In a coordinated effort, they dashed toward Patches, focusing on the lantern that held the key to their escape. With one swift movement, they tore it free from Patch's grasp. The moment they did, the diary shimmered, the pages flipping open as symbols illuminated the tent. Emma could feel the pulse of energy emanating from the lantern, as more symbols now adorned it. "Now we have to use it," she urged, raising the lantern high. It was brighter now, and started to dissolve the darkness around them. Patches, realizing the danger, let out a guttural growl. Emma and her friends gathered together, knowing the lantern's light was safe and powerful now. They swung the lantern toward Patches, the light bursting forth in a blinding flash. Patches recoiled, a howl of fury escaping his lips as the light cut through the shadows. "Do it now!" Jake shouted, urgency in his voice. With all their strength, they smashed the lantern against Patches, shattering the glass panels on the enclosure. The radiant light exploded in a brilliant flash. The force of the blast engulfed him, pushing back the darkness that had clung to him. Patches screamed, the sound piercing and filled with rage, before vanishing into the darkness that now surrounded them. The lantern had broken, and Patches was subdued for now. The friends scurried out of the tent, back into the open starlit sky. They all stood silent, taking in the gravity of what had just happened, and Sophie was now scarred for life. They collectively looked down at the now shimmering diary as it opened to its last tattered page, its title ominous. It read, Maledictio.